Welcome, friends of the toast and enemies of the toast. So, I got a question. Been doing some local modern, and somebody said, "What deck are you playing?" Well, I'm going to show you what deck, and you probably already know because you clicked on the video. But it is Hollow One. It's my Kevin Bacon. It's my Hollow Man deck. So, when I say it's my Hollow Man deck, Hollow Man has changed a lot because we've been playing Hollow Man for a few years now. And I really believe I've got the best iteration of it. I think this is the quintessential Hollow Man, the best Hollow Man, if you will. A Hollow Man to hollow out all other Hollow Men that came before them. So without further ado, let's get into this. And look at that beautiful token. Now, where did I get this? We got it from, how rude of me. We got it from our friend at Dark Side Tokens. Thank you. Look how good. Look how cool. We love it. Oops, we don't want it to go that way. So, what is in this deck and why do I say it's the best? I say it's the best because it doesn't really rely on the graveyard. And that is a good thing. And wait till I tell you the cut that was made in this. You'll be very surprised. And I've played this probably 60 games against Prowess, some Affinity, and it is just kicking butt. Now we have the Pootwalla there, the Blazing Bootwalla. So we have those there, and this is a Vengevine variant. However, it is not the crapshoot that is Vengevine. So this Rootwalla is very good because not only can we play it for free most times, but that kind of blitz ability there is very good. Now we have the Marauding Mako because we are discarding. Whenever you discard one or more cards, put that many 1/1 counters on this creature. Now, with the Faithless Looting unbanned, that's what really gave this deck new wings. So when Faithless Looting was unbanned, that's when we really started playing Hollow Man again. Now go back in the channel, see how the deck has evolved over the last few years. It's quite remarkable. Now Mako is joined by another 1-drop, which is no longer Nethergoyf because we do not really care about our graveyard. So Nethergoyf gone. Even though Nethergoyf is great because you can play it out of the graveyard. However, the cost of Nethergoyf out of the graveyard is not necessarily worth the means. And that Menace is so good. That is such a good evasion. So it enters with 6 -1/-1 counters on it in Moonshadow. Now, this is where whenever one or more permanent cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere while this creature has a -1/-1 counter on it, remove a -1/-1 counter from this creature. So usually we're moving between like 2 and 3. So fetch a land, remove a counter, a discard effect, that will remove a counter. Anything hitting the graveyard, but keep in mind that that's instances of, so pay close attention to that wording, whenever one or more. So a Faithless Looting, if you have Faithless Loot and then discard 2 lands, that's not going to remove 2 counters. It'll remove 1. So, wish it was the other way, but with that Menace, I mean, that would be just too overpowered. But we are running 4. So 4 is working out really good. And I know a few months back when we did this, we said we're running 2. And 2 worked out so good, that's why we went ahead and added 4 again. So we have Inti, Seneschal of the Sun. And there's 2 Intis here. Because I like Inti better than Burning or Goblin Lore. I don't like Goblin Lore. I think it's a bad card. I don't think it's good in this deck because it's 1 and a red. But this is good in the deck because it's 1 and a red. You get to discard a card. True, you don't get to discard as many cards, nor do you get to draw the card. However, that exiling of the top card of the library, a lot of times that'll enable a Hollow Man play. And if you've played him, go to your attack step, and then you discard Rootwalla with a Vengevine, play Rootwalla, Vengevine comes out, and this Inti is so good in here that the hard cut, are you ready for it? The hard cut I made was there's only 2 Bowmasters in here. And I found that, in my opinion, Bowmasters in this deck, in the current meta, is a trap. But Bowmaster is good enough where there should be 2 Bowmasters. So there is 2 Bowmasters in the main deck, but it finds its way into the sideboard quite often. And there's a special card in the sideboard that you guys are going to be like, What in the Sam Hill? But it is doing work. It is doing work. So there's our two Bowmasters. This card, it's a great card. In many decks that run black, it'd be great to run the playset. We ran a playset, so I feel like I have the right to say that it's a trap in this deck. And I think it's better maybe suited for the Delirium shell. But its damage is good to a degree, but because it only works with Burning Inquiry, it just not the best. Now, Detective's Phoenix is the best, because this is the kind of thing we want to do our graveyard with. Because we pop this out, drop it on a Kevin Bacon statue, Hollow Man, in case somebody knows, and send that there. We got to maybe play out some kind of, go ahead and discard, play, if you're the Marauding Mako, if you play a Marauding Mako, play a discard effect, with 1 mana floating, you can equip that Mako, and it's usually going to be a 4/4, then the +2/+2. It's going to be a 6/6, so you can usually get that hopping turn 3 pretty good, and that evasive 6 damage is really great. So, got to have the 4 in there, but once in a while, one will go to the sideboard. Now, Vengevine is an uninteresting card, and I'm going to tell you, Vengevine's a trap in its own right. Every deck you see online, you're going to see something, friends. People run 2 Stomping Grounds, and instead of a Raucous Theater, they run a, what is it? Market District, right? Is that it? Commercial District. Yes, Commercial District. The Gruul version of Raucous Theater. So the Surveil lands are great, but they run those, and they don't have anything in the sideboard. Like, I could see if you were running that color in the sideboard, but without that color in the sideboard, there's no point. So Vengevine, there is no green mana production. So Vengevine is a dead card in this, to a degree where we can definitely use it to go ahead and collect evidence. So it's 4 collect evidence, but most of the time it pops out pretty readily. But we don't want to cast that. The way this deck's set up, if we're going ahead and paying 2 and 2 green, now just no, 2 green, no. And as much as we're discarding, we're not going to throw in like 3 lands or 2 Stomping Grounds or something and then fetch a Stomping Ground with a useless green mana. Unless there is something in the sideboard, like, I don't know, like a Pick Your Poison, something in the sideboard. It would have to be, it'd take a lot. And of course, Hollow Man needs no introduction. The cycling thing is really good, but honestly, the synergy of this deck, all these cards work together like a team. And we'll be doing some mulligan, guys, because this is what I'm playing right now. Remember I said I was getting priced out of Modern and we're moving over to doing Pauper on the channel to keep the Fight Club going? Well, this is one of 4 of our Modern decks that we kept. And here's Ox of Agonis. Now, when this enters the battlefield, discard your hand, then draw 3 cards. So this can make many things huge. Exile 8 other cards from your graveyard. 8 cards in the graveyard isn't, it's not much. Not with this. So this will escape. You'll have a 5/3, and it's kind of a big ask, but it's not impossible to like turn 2, you can easily get you got this guy in the yard. Turn 2, you can have 8 cards in there. It's a little tricky, but pretty much like turn 3 plus. Like, this is a late game guy, but he never finds his way into the sideboard. You better believe he doesn't, any more than these 4 do. So Swamp Walk, who cares? Cycling, pay 2 life. Pay 2 life and discard this card. So this is like Vengevine in a way. Now, if we were playing like a Gruul, to me, like, playing Stomping Ground with just the Vengevine in the deck would be like if you were playing like a Gruul Delirium deck with this in it for the discard, but then you ran, instead of like just the Gruul lands, like instead of the Commercial District, you would run like a Raucous Theater and then a couple Blood Crypts to enable the casting of this. Even though I realize it's a bad card to cast, but it just makes almost like, that's how little the sense of having those couple stomping grounds. Just because in most of those decks too, they are running the Goblin lore. So that is like 10 discard spells, and you got that random discard. Like, what if you want to cast the thing, you're not going to cast it. It's just not going to happen. But just to do a review here, kids, we are going to count out the creatures here and show you what we got here, because this is a creature heavy deck. So we have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, but these creatures, like I said, they're a discard. So we're not even going to count those as creatures, but there's 4 there if you want to count them as creatures. So 29, 33 with the Wraiths. But again, they're pretty much just fodder for collecting evidence. They're fodder for discard, and that's all they are. I don't think I've ever cast one of those. But let's check out our non-creature spells here, and they're pretty slim. So on the main board, we're running 2 lightning bolts. It's 6 damage. Of course, we have our classic Burning Inquiry playset and a playset of the Faithless Looting. So just in case somebody's not familiar, draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, flashback should not be ignored. Burning Inquiry, each player draws 3 cards and discards 3 cards at random. So this is the one I was talking about that synergizes with Bowmasters, so they can take 3 damage, and you can get +3/+3 on your Orc army, and that's really, really good, but it's not 4 copies good, in my opinion. And I think I have the experience because I've been playing Hollow Man a long time now. I played it mono red pre-Faithless Looting ban. And that rounds it up. So we have 2 instants, and that's why, like, I believe that the Delirium shell of this is a really good deck, but we played it. We really exhausted it. But this deck is better in I want to say my opinion, but I really believe it's better. I think it's performed better against some really heavy-hitting decks that I've played against. And it just, it kind of synergizes so good with itself. Now let's talk about the mana base, because we like to keep this mana base a little thick. And by thick, I mean there's 18 lands in here. So we have 3 Woodsies for our fetchies. Then we have a playset of Bloodstone. Did I say 3 Woodsy Footstills? We have, I'm sorry, I forgot I have a playset of these in here now. And a playset of Bloodstained Mire. I had a different land in here before. I think it was a Scalding Tarn, but we flipped that over. We like this better. These classic playsets look nice. So Blood Crypt. Oh my goodness. That's our Pain lands. Just those. Shaka Doodles. And Raucous Theater for our Surveil land. And we have 1 Swamp because we have a bit of black. Not just in the... It's in the sideboard, and you see in my metagame area Blood Moon and the Magus of the Moon. So just this is sideboarded if we're comfortable and go with 17 lands, but we like 18. And then we have the 2 mountains as well. The 2 mountains, you know, and these not the coolest. This one's really cool. I shouldn't say not the coolest, but I like the artwork on these 2, and they're really easily fetchable with the white borders. So gotta love them. And the 2 Arena of Glories. Now, these are a little better cards if you run these in like the Delirium shell, because it's really cool. Like, say you have Delirium, right? So if you have Delirium, it's turn 3. If you have a couple of Dragon's Rage Channelers in hand, you can exert this and play out the 2 Dragon's Rage Channelers, giving them haste, and they'll both be 3/3s, you know, flying haste, and get that action right away. So I did find that was really cool, and it was almost good enough where I was like, ooh, it's such a hard cut to drop Delirium. But I find that Dr. C was a little bit, I don't know, because if you were going to run the Dr. C, the only thing I could really find squinking out would be Moonshadow or Marauding Mako. And Mako is just so good. Like, the redundancy of these 2 cards is so good. Playing 2 Inties is a little greedy, but if we played like a couple Burning, or I keep calling it Burning Inquiry, Goblin Lore Friends of the Toast, I would probably play just 1 of these if we had Goblin Lore. But 2 of these, I want this in my hand. I want Inti. I don't want to just discard him away. I'm always sad to see him just go away. So let us talk about sideboard. Look at that. When you play out, you got to have those. You don't want to get into some kind of a situation. You know what I mean, Bazak? All right, so let's talk about this kooky sideboard. Oh my goodness, get out of here. All right, sideboard city. Here we go. So we have a Magebane Lizard. Now we ran 2 for a long time, but what we're doing is we're just running the 1 now because we got a little friend to go with Magebane. Now, instead of the other Magebane, I'm running Zoyawa Lava Tongue. And I almost love this card enough, but it is legendary, and I don't like getting too heavy on those legendaries because we have 2 Inties already. You know what I'm saying? So, right here, Death Touch at the beginning of your end step. If you descended this turn, each opponent may discard a card or sacrifice a permanent. Zoyawa Lava Tongue deals 3 damage to each opponent who didn't. So the way this deck is, if people have a plan, like say you go second, like if somebody had to mulligan, this guy right here can be devastating because not only are you having people draw cards and discard with Burning Inquiry, this right here is a way, even though it's a 1-of in the deck, getting it in hand is great. It's 2 mana, it's a 2/2. The Death Touch is great. But really right here, that 3 damage is so just inevitable, like after turn 3, by the way we devastate the board. And I'll show you how this works with this sideboard, which really changes the nature of the deck. So there's that extra 3rd lightning bolt. Now, for our pesky little wieners on the board, we've got Fire Magic. Now, it's true, I ran other cards with bigger mana costs. The split one, you know, it's the one that does 6 damage to creatures with flying, but then does 2 damage to each creature without flying. It's 2 mana. It's a sorcery. I like this better because it's an instant. And if we feel like like the second game, if we're playing against Boros, which we do a lot, those dang kitties. So this is really great to deal with those cats. So we can prepare for cats if we have this in hand by like kind of setting back on a turn and dumping that on their turns better, because then when it comes back to our turn, unlike, where is it? I haven't played it in so long, I don't even remember what it's called. But it was a trash card. It was no good. It was a sorcery, and it was the split one. Rough and Tumble, that's the card. 2 copies of Rough and Tumble were replaced with the instant speed 2 copies of Fire Magic. Now, here's where it gets very uniquely Lizards of the Toast. So let's say we're going against combo decks. Let's say we're playing against anything that wants to get sneaky and tricky. In these decks, you will see, not so much anymore, but for a long time, you saw Leyline of the Void. We don't want their graveyard exiled. We want cards in their graveyard because we run 3 surgical extractions. We want cards in their graveyard because these will pop out of the sideboard, and we do not care about Delirium. You see where this is going? We don't care about Delirium. So we can go ahead and pop out our other lightning bolts. We can take out a couple Phoenixes, whatever. And then we're like, hey, we're in this for slow game now. Like, you want to play combo decks? You want to try to get fast and furious? We are going to play slow game. So we'd probably take out a Phoenix or 2. We'd take out, I'd probably take out 1 Arena of Glory. We'd pop in Zeroya Lava Tongue there, maybe the other Lightning Bolt, a couple other things. And then we are in Black City, Utah. So that's why we got that other swamp in there, just to be sure. So we could even take out a mountain because we need all that black mana then. So we've gone from being Rakdos, blood red Rakdos, to like black is the underside of a crow's wing. Scary. Quote the Raven. And what else do we have here? We got 2 meltdowns just for those pesky artifacts, those free artifacts. What a good card this would be. What a great card if instant speed, right, friends? Now, remember I said there's 2 friends that go along with our other friend here, Mr. Magebane, and that's the Damping Spear. So the Damping Sphere, if a land is tapped for 2 or more mana, it produces 1 colorless instead of any other type. Each spell a player casts costs 1 more to cast for each other spell that players cast. So that would be Storm. Okay, these are targeting Storm and Prowess decks, which we come across those quite frequently as well. And I think right now I might get Mrs. Honeyboo this week to play me in Prowess, because we are going to be playing on Thursday at the LGS. So if anybody finds their way to Lang's on Thursday, you can find the Lizard there. And for $5, you can get in on the Modern. Usually I hear there's about 5 to 7, but it's been pretty light. Pretty light lately. Probably everybody's getting priced out. I don't know. And pre-modern is just has an allure, but this is it. You said, what are you playing? This is what I'm playing. Thanks for joining me. And you know what? We're going to do some deck tech with this. We're going to do some mulligan guide, and we're really going to show what this deck can do because we're going to take it up against some prowess and maybe some mono white. So have a good one, friends, and thank you for joining me. 20 minutes we spent together. If you spent the whole time with me, leave a giant green heart in the bottom of the comments with a poop emoji by it. Green poop.